Okay then, Hazbin Hotel episode 5. Slightly more lighthearted affair, I hope. Certainly people haven't been warning me about this one. Like I haven't been hearing content warnings. So one hopes so, and since it's called Dad Be Dad, it could either be about two dads getting into a fist fight, or it could be what I assume it's going to be about. It's going to be we're finally going to see Lucifer. Like, we're going to meet Lucifer. We're going to get some sense of why Charlie is the way that she is, and sort of explore the relationship that she has with her dad, who is conspicuously very absent, right? From the goings on and the power dealings of hell, a place that he might have helped, cause to happen. So that's gonna be cool, I hope. It's I just need a breather, Hazbin Hotel. After the last one, just like give me one episode to catch my breath, and then we can dive back into the horror. So I'm hoping for that. That would be good. But welcome to a watch-along format reaction video thing, and the way that it works is there's a timer in the top left corner that tells you where I am in the episode. You use that to stay in sync with me so that you're seeing the same things that I'm seeing. And the reason I'm doing it that way is because the copyright lawyers will kill you. Like they will tear out your legs from under you, especially on YouTube. And avoiding copyright, like putting stuff on screen for a reaction while avoiding copyright claims and stuff, it's a whole freaking pain in the ass. Like, there's things you can do. You can put stuff on screen with a very low opacity. Like, you can play the sound with an audio filter. Like, there's things you can do, but all of that carries risk, and all of that risk comes with a whole bunch of work. If it gets copyright claimed, you have to re-edit it. Like, I don't want to, because this is my relaxation time. Theoretically, last time wasn't necessarily very relaxing, but this is my chill out time. I don't want to do a lot of work, so I'm doing it the simple way, which is whenever I have a bunch of stuff to say, I'm gonna pause. I'm gonna say 3, 2, 1, pause, and then I'm gonna pause, and you're gonna see a screenshot of whatever it is that I happen to be looking at the time, so that you know what I'm talking about. And then when I'm done talking, I'll say 3, 2, 1, unpause, or 3, 2, 1, go, or whatever, and then we'll get back into it. That's how this works. So load up your own entirely 100% legitimate video file of Hazbin Hotel on Amazon Prime, which is where you're supposed to be getting it. Go all the way back down to 00000, and let's see what happens in this one. 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I really like the character animation on... Yeah. Oh, I bet he's not. Ah. Okay, I see. Entry of the Gladiators? Hey, bitch! 3, 2, 1, pause. Okay. Jesus fucking Christ. Gee, okay, that's a very divorced man. That is, like, I don't know if he's divorced. Like, I don't know if, like if Lilith isn't around, if they're divorced or whatever, but that is a very divorced man. Holy shit, that's a very divorced man. Oh, Lord. Okay. All right. Boy, howdy. Okay, so I called a few things about Lucifer there. Well, at least, certainly that he seems to be patterned after, like, sort of cheerful, eccentric, creative type who's... Yeah, who's... well, too soon to say something. But I feel like maybe I called what kind of personality type he's gonna be. But I wanted... I was thinking, I'm gonna move on from it. No, I actually want to talk a little bit about Charlie's character animation here. Because, where are we? Because, like, there was a lot of time and effort sunk into her character acting in this scene. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. It's not quite there. It's one of the... Yeah, here. There's a lot of effort that's been put into the character animation here. Like, some really good, like it has that low frame rate sort of chunkiness to it. But, like, the circles and the arcs on how Charlie's moving here, like, the moment she thinks she gets... This idea is gonna definitely work, like, pulling herself up, literally puffing out her chest. Like, you can see her chest swell. And then, like, the little head and neck movements she does there, right? Wiggling back and forth. That's just... that's just some really nice character animation. Because, like, that's the thing, like, Charlie at this moment is like, extremely tired, sleep deprived, and sort of a little bit manic, right? So, like, there is, like, an energy to her movement and her motions here that's, like, she's always been hyperactive, she's always very ebullient, right? She's always very exuberant, but here it's very much like this thing of, like, changing postures every 2 seconds and, like, not really being at rest in any one emotional state at a time. That, like, I really like that. Like, that this whole scene is, like, really nicely animated. Like, those little head bobs up, and that's really good. I really like that. Anyway, Lucifer. Oh boy, howdy. So his character design, the way that he's put together, I'm getting, like, doesn't hurt that we got the entry of the Gladiators as his fucking ringtone, but I am getting Circus Ringmaster from the way that he's put together, and indeed, like, also the way that his like, his whole aesthetic with the elephants and, like, these banner thing. Yeah, actually, that is a big top right there, isn't it? Yeah, and, like, the horse, and, like, that very much to me looks like we've got a ringmaster character here, right? Like, we've got a circus ringmaster who has sort of, I guess, lost control of the circus and who's desperate to perform again. 3 questions. Whomst be this fellow over here that Lucifer has his arms around? Boyfriend? Former friend? Brother? Wait, is that... No, that wouldn't be Adam. But if it's not Lucifer, then like if it's Lucifer, like because my assumption would be this would be Gabriel, an archangel or something, right? Or well, it would be an angel, surely. Then who is this Charlie in her goth phase? Hang on. I just saw the little which also that would also explain the clown dots. Why Charlie has the clown makeup, because he's a circus ringmaster, so she's inheriting his clowning thing. And then there's this image here of Lilith, Charlie, and him. And again, I'm wondering, like, am I supposed to read very much into that at all, or is this some old like art of the characters that has sort of been being used as a background asset? Because I can't help but wonder, do we take something from the fact that like the presentation here is very much that Charlie and Lilith are hugging and he's sort of third wheeling it down below, being the guy who's just holding the daughter up? Because again, my sense from the way that he responded to her on the phone, this very insecure, like, oh shit, she's calling me, fuck, I have to do this right, I have to be a good dad, and then immediately fucking it up, is like this sense of, like, it's that very divorced man thing of like when the mother isn't there, an extremely divorced man is like, shit, I don't know how to take care of a kid, like what the fuck am I supposed to like this? There are some men who like are very lost in the world without their wives, which can be a lot of strain on a relationship. And that's kind of the vibe I'm getting from Lucifer here, like with the messy sort of bachelor pad shit he's got going on, and responding to his daughter on the phone by saying, hey, bitch, which, oh man, I don't care how cool of a dad you are. that's maybe not the way that you do that. But he does, like, there is pictures of happier times up here, and clearly he does adore his daughter, right? Like, clearly he does adore her because she's present in his world all the time, right? Like, he has the pictures up on the wall, he has the memories. So I'm curious, like, exactly how that's gonna play. Oh well, I guess we'll find out. We are at 2 minutes 22 seconds. 3, 2, 1, on pause. ADHD vibes. No. Yeah. Ooh, you can see that dagger is in his back. Oh boy, yeah. There's a good gesture. 3, 2, 1, pause. There was a good gesture. We are at 4 minutes 43. I'm going to need to remember that number. I'm going to try. Yeah, right around here. When Charlie is asking him, like... Right, like, as she's asking him for something that he knows he can't provide her, right? For whatever reason, he knows that he can't provide her with what she's asking, like talking to heaven, like having a meeting with the guys upstairs. Lucifer knows that that's, apparently, for whatever reason, that's not possible for him. And then you get the gesture of him looking over at the pictures, right? Of the happier times when they were a complete family unit, like when presumably he felt like his life was more together. And when I would imagine a time when things seemed possible for him, right? And that's just as a gesture of like to sort of explain how he's feeling and what his relationship is with Charlie. That's a good gesture because he keeps looking back at this, right? And what she needs is for him to be there for her now, and he just doesn't feel like he can do that. Right. Which, I mean, who knows what the politics situation of it is. Like, my guess would be that Lucifer has confidence issues. Again, going off the character acting. That, like, he seems like he's desperately trying to overcompensate for insecurity. Right. And given how badly he got burned by heaven once upon a time, at least according to the intro of the show, like, it could be a thing of, like, just, like, well, there's no point. Like, you cannot affect change against heaven. You cannot argue with them. You cannot reason with them. I tried, and then they threw me into hell, right? It could be that he just simply cannot will himself to believe that better things are possible. That would certainly jive with the theme of the rest of the show, which is this thing of, like, redemption isn't possible. Like, you can't be redeemed. Things cannot get better. Things cannot change for the better. Like, things are set in stone. They are the way they are, and never shall things be altered for the better because, like, better things are not possible. I like that he has the serpent around the hat. That's a cute little gesture. Once again, biblically speaking, there is the idea that Lucifer or Satan, which aren't necessarily the same character either, in the... Wait, is that who that is? Is that what the show is? Because, like... Because... Again, I'm sort of drawing on imperfect knowledge of theology, but Lucifer the Morning Star, right? Like the Archangel Lucifer is a separate story. Like that's not the same biblical character as Satan, as the adversary, as the the Satan that or the adversary or the whatever that convinces God to fuck over Job very severely is not the same as, like, the character that some Christians think of as the biblical devil, right? It's not the same necessarily character as the one who tempts Jesus in the desert, right? And it's not the same as the serpent in the Garden of Eden. And, like, what I'm looking at the character design of these two guys, right? And it's like you have one which is, like, bright white and sort of very cheerful, clown makeup, ringmaster, like, who seems like he could be easily manipulated by someone charismatic who has more sinister goals in mind. Is it going to be a thing of, like, we have both Lucifer and Satan, like, where Satan is the adversary, but it's more of a classical biblical version of the adversary in that he's actually a servant of heaven, whose job it is to manipulate, like, whose job it is to, like play devil's advocate, essentially, like to test the metal of soul, like, whose job is to be the accuser. Like, who has some kind of biblical role in that sense, and that was the guy who manipulated Lucifer into Like, who sort of, hey, Lucifer, just do it. It'll be fine. Cool. Like, you can change heaven for the better. Like, who sort of manipulated or pushed Lucifer into it, and then Lucifer took the fall. Like, literally, Lucifer fell because he took the fall. I mean, I don't know if that's necessarily that, but is that where we're going? Where were we? 4 minutes 40 something. About here. Okay. I completely lost my. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, right. I was talking about the gesture of him looking back at the portraits, at the pictures of. Where the sense I get, at least from that character acting, is that he's someone who's looking back, like who keeps thinking back on better times and who has trouble looking to the future, which is the thing that Charlie does. Charlie looks to the future all the fucking time, and she has trouble staying in the moment, right? Like, she has trouble staying in the here and now because she's so obsessed with her vision, right? Which that would be a good contrast for them, like that would provide a solid foundation for like a conflict between father and daughter here. So I'm wondering about that. Jesus Christ, I went off on a tangent there. All right, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Welcome, Daddy. Oh, Jesus. How's Alastor gonna interact with Lucifer? Oh, Alastor, I can see his eyes twitching. Oh, he's clearly annoyed. Is Lucifer shorter than Charlie? Oh, he really is. Oh, boy. Okay, right, I see. Lucifer is easily threatened. Of course, Lucifer might also know how okay, I see. Oh, jealousy issues, do we? Okay, 3, 2, 1, pause. Okay, so Alastor is doing that very much on purpose. He knows exactly how to push Lucifer's buttons. Okay, right. Which, of course, he always seems to do, right? So is he just doing this for his amusement, or is he... presumably he's angling for power in some way. But no, yeah, I was right. Lucifer has deep insecurity issues. Especially he has insecurity issues when it comes to being his daughter's favorite person. Being the most important person in his daughter's life. Because, again, he looks backwards to when she was a itty-bitty baby, like a little child who looked to him for everything, right? For whom Daddy was the most important and powerful and strong and great and wonderful person in the world. And that, like, it's not uncommon for men to have trouble letting their daughters grow up, right? It's not uncommon for parents. Like, parents, full stop. But there is, at least there is culturally like a stereotype of like fathers and daughters in that regard, which seems to be what Lucifer is playing to here. Just again, I want to call out little things in the animation. Like, Alastor very conspicuously does the whole he's putting a hand on her shoulder and like being close with her in a way that Lucifer can't stomach. And it's so clearly like, and I'm wondering also if Alastor is doing this because he feels threatened. Like, because again, we don't really know how power, like, I'm not interested in power scaling very much, but we don't know exactly what the power levels are here. We don't, like, I have been operating under the assumption that, like, part of the point of Charlie's character is that she could, like, rain down hell and devastation if she wanted to, because she's the daughter of, like, Lucifer and Lilith, and she's, like, one of the founding demon, like, part of the founding family of demons of hell, so presumably she is immensely powerful, and she could probably tear someone like Valentino to shreds if she decided to do it. But I don't actually know that. So who knows? Like, because if Lucifer is particularly powerful, Alastor might be pushing his buttons specifically because he's feeling threatened as well. Who knows? Because instantly, like, the moment Lucifer walks through the door, you look at the background and you see Alastor's eyelid twitching because he's clearly unhappy about the presence of this thing in his environment, his controlled environment where he gets his fun. So I wonder if he's worried that, like, being with the power level of Lucifer would interfere with his ability to control what he's got going on. Because it's also just very funny how short he is. It's genuinely very funny that he's so tiny. Which again, like, if we're going for, like, with apologies to all my short kings out there, but it is a thing in character design that if you want a character to have, like, insecurity issues, if you want them to have, like, sort of like, you give them Napoleon syndrome, right? Like, you give them this thing of, like, they're very short because, and that's, like, visually speaking, like, it's like in a game like Dark Souls, right? When you fight a boss in Dark Souls, every boss is bigger than you. All of them. Every single goddamn one, right? Like short of characters that are specifically, like, this designed to be the size of another player, any character you meet, even if they're supposed to just be normal human size, they're going to be taller than you. They're going to be bigger than you. And from a character design perspective, that's part of the game making you feel less powerful, like making you feel viscerally also like the underdog in comparison to a greater power which you can then overcome, right? And get to the rush of, like, beating a powerful boss out of it. And, like, look for that in, like, basically any video game. Is anytime the game wants you to feel like the underdog, they just make you smaller. They just put you down lower than something or someone that you are fighting. Because that's a really, really great way to sort of impart that feeling. And from a character design perspective, if you want a character to feel disempowered, if you want them to be insecure, uncertain, etc., well, you make them shorter, or you make them smaller than whatever they're up against. And a little ego raptor browsmack angry face over here with his little tiny hat, which is this. It's just a good visual that he's so fucking short, but, like, right, you can see instantly the moment Charlie, like, Charlie isn't even doing, like, a gesture of affection with him here. She's just kind of going, could you maybe not be on my shoulder right now? That's a little weird to me. But he doesn't see that. Lucifer clearly doesn't understand that this is not a gesture of affection. This is a gesture of, he's being awfully friendly today, where it's like she's uncertain but too polite to say something. But for him, it's like, no one else gets affection from my little girl but me. Which, okay, now I'm starting to think about it. He also wears a crown. Yeah, there's a crown there in his. I should have seen that a while ago, but there's a 3-pronged crown in the rim of his hat. 'Cause Prince of Hell and all of that. Okay. But that, it does make me wonder, like, are we playing Lucifer's possessiveness for comedy the whole time? Like, is it haha goofy fun times that he's so possessive and has clearly invested so much of himself in his relationship with Charlie, even if he's terrible at actually maintaining that relationship. Because that's the kind of possessiveness that can turn toxic real quick. Like like it's very funny right now when he's a little Napoleon manlet walking into a situation where someone who's incredibly good at manipulating people for his own amusement can use that against him. But like, depending on how you play a character like that, like that's the kind of character that could, like, if he gets pushed to an extreme where he feels like the hotel is endangering his daughter, or like the hotel is like endangering who he thinks his daughter is to him, right? In the sense of it's making Charlie too independent, and she's like picking fights with dangerous enemies and shit like that, and he can't conceptualize her of a fighter in that way because that's too dangerous for his little girl. Like, that's the kind of thing where I could see it. Like, you could play a character like that to the point where he explodes and tries to burn the whole goddamn thing to the ground. Like King Triton in The Little Mermaid, you know, right? Like when he destroys Ariel's cave, that kind of thing. I wonder how dark they're gonna go with that. Madrano, just please give me a second, okay? Because you just did episode 4, so could we just keep this funny, just for now, just for the moment? I would like this to just kind of stay hilarious. If the expression got better. Look at this little marshmallow man. Oh my god, my guy. It's just the little squished face. Clown man. Anyway, 3, 2, 1, unpause. Overcompensator. Oh, 3, 2, 1, pause. Remember the thing we said about size? Having an equality with power, right? Now we see the shift happen in Lucifer, right? Like after the chandelier falls, where like, oh, because again, a character's size is not always just a matter of their actual physical size. It's how the camera frames them. It's where the camera is placed. And right now, all of a sudden, like this character who for the most of that scene really takes up very little space in the frame, like we push in close on him, we put him in the foreground, we hide his eyes to sort of hide his expression. And then he puts on a very Alastor-like expression. And like, I think the shot like deliberately frames the two of them next to each other because this is going to be where Lucifer sort of mounts his, like, asserts his authority, asserts his power. And that, to me, seemed to be confirmed by the shot here, where all of a sudden now he's the demon prince on the throne of hell, under a big top. Again, I note the circus thing going on. But like, okay, so now the camera is framing him differently, right? Like, at first he's a silly little fun goblin man who's just sort of overcompensating and insecure. But I guess now he's actually exercising his power, and so things are going to get a little bit different. We're going to go back to the start of the song, because I want to hear the whole song through. That just popped into my head immediately there. Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, this is fully on some genie from Aladdin shit. And yes, this song is about trying to challenge Alastor. Oh my god, Alastor. Oh, we're doing fucking... Are we actually doing fucking... God damn it. Wait. Wait, what? What? Okay. Wait. Hey, down. What? 3, 2, 1. Pause. What? 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 Hang on. What? I mean, good. Like, good to break the tension between these two control freaks, but right. Okay. So it's both then. Alastor is pushing Lucifer's buttons deliberately, but also he is feeling threatened. Genuinely threatened. And clearly Lucifer has the power to back that up. Even if he's not, like, in sort of in a related way to Charlie, he's hesitant to use it. But not for the same reasons as Charlie, I think. Like, I think if Lucifer is hesitant to show his power right now, it's probably because he doesn't want to scare her. Okay, so that derailed pretty hard there at the end. Clearly intentionally, like, that's on purpose. It's on purpose that they derailed it to introduce whoever the hell this is. Acquaintance of Alastor, I suppose. Did he have to call in backup? Like, is that? Nah, he seems a little bit surprised by her presence. Huh, curious. But, like, okay. You know what? No, at the end of the episode, we're going to go back. Like, once we're done with the episode, we'll go back. We'll check out that song in detail. Because there was a bunch, like, there was so much Disney's Aladdin. There was so much the genie in that. The way that was performed. Especially by Lucifer, but Alastor seemed to be sort of playing along with it as well a little bit. And it's very, very funny to see these two guys fighting over Charlie's affections, because, again, I don't think Alastor really cares that much if Charlie likes him, but I think he really, really, really cares if he can get her to strike a deal with him. Because that seemed to be the thing that was introduced, right? Like, this thing of, like, Alastor is a guy who offers deals, and you should be real careful about taking them. Like, he's already taken, Husk's soul, essentially. So, given on the assumption that Alastor is evil, which, that's all the evidence suggests that he is, presumably what he's ultimately after is a deal, some kind of bond of obligation, some kind of hold over Charlie and the power that she wields as Princess of Hell. Like, that's probably what he's really angling for, ultimately, one assumes. And so the presence of Lucifer is obviously a bit of a threat to that, because if Lucifer can provide, through his power, all the same things that Alastor can, well, then that deal is probably never going to happen, is it? Because she's never going to be desperate enough to take it. If she always has Daddy in her back pocket, so we need to create a rift with Daddy. And one of the good ways to do that is to, like, poke at the guy's jealousy, right? Make him show his ass. Make him act out in front of his daughter in a way that she doesn't want to have anything to do with him anymore. Charlie's already hesitant to call on her dad for help. Well, if we can really alienate the two from each other, nothing to stop me from taking on the role of benefactor and protector, and getting what I want out of that. Like, that seems to me to be the thing, that Alastor is, like, equal parts threatened by something more powerful than him being present, or at least as powerful. And my assumption is that this also threatens his long-term plans for why he's even doing this. Like, because Alastor does claim that it's like, well, it's because I think it's funny to see people struggle pointlessly in vain, which might be true. Like, I'm sure he also does derive plenty of enjoyment from that. But one assumes that he also has, a slightly more substantial ulterior motive. It's very, very fucking funny. Like, just Alastor just, like, hammering on that thing over and over and over again. I'm her new dad. Because, like, just, like, pinpointing Lucifer's insecurity and drilling into it. Again, it's very funny until, like, I would worry about what would happen if Lucifer actually snaps. Lovely little detail in the background. The apple with a single bite taken out of it. Cool little biblical detail. Anyway, Mimsy then. Okay, what the fuck is your deal? You were saying something about Alastor's past and I didn't quite catch it, so I'm just gonna go back, like, 5 seconds to hear what the heck is going on there. We are 10 minutes and 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, unpause. Oh, no. At what point is Charlie gonna catch on to the fact that she's being used as an object here? Cute. Okay. Okay, so Alastor backstory then. Well, oh, hello. So who's holding Alastor's leash? Good question. What does he think? I see. 3, 2, 1. Pause. Right, okay then. So now we get Lucifer's pathology there. He feels hard done by, doesn't he? I guess partly because he also has swallowed the propaganda of, like, sin. That, like, a person can be stained irrevocably to the point that they're not worth, like, even the second chance or the concept or possibility of restitution or redemption. Which, going by the way that he talked to Charlie there, I would say that, first of all, he feels separate from them, right? Like, he does not feel at all a part of hell, right? Like, he does not feel like he is their sovereign. He does not feel like he's in a position of responsibility to the people who live in hell, right? Which, like, if he was forced into the role by heaven because he, like, broke one rule one time and now he's here forever, that's an understandable thing of, like, I didn't ask for this. Why the fuck? Like, this is not my responsibility. Like, this has nothing to do with me. These people went to hell because they did their own fucking thing. Why should I care about them? That's an understandable, if ungenerous, and selfish reaction to being put in a position of power like that. So he feels separate from them, and, like, he does not feel he owes them anything, or that he should owe them anything, or that improving their conditions should have anything to do with him. But more than that, he also seems scared of heaven, right? Like, I gave them free will, look what they've done with it. Ungrateful wretches, they are no longer my problem, kind of thing. That was sort of the vibe of what he said there. And then, like, well, I don't know necessarily that it's scared, but he's certainly hopeless about heaven, right? Like, heaven, oh my god, like, they're, like, he takes a dim view of the souls in hell, right? And he knows the exacting standards to which heaven holds all of the everything. And he's like, yeah, no, there's no chance. Like, these people cannot be redeemed, both because they're terrible, but also because, like, really redeemed in the eyes of heaven of all places. Heaven is not gonna fucking do that. Doesn't matter what you do. Heaven is never gonna let them in. He seems to have a presumption about that, which one wonders if not he's right about, given how with the level of impunity with which Adam can just go down there and massacre people. So, okay. Right. So Lucifer there is... I'd say he's probably acting out of a desire to protect Charlie from disappointment. Something which he has intense experience with. But again, also that thing of, like, he doesn't believe in her, right? He doesn't believe that, okay, this is how things are. Lucifer doesn't believe that Charlie could change things because, again, he doesn't see her as a powerful agent in her own right. He sees her as his little girl, right? Is my sense of the character anyway. But okay, so... And then the little thing, who the fuck is holding Alastor's leash then? And Alastor clearly, that's a trigger word for him. Like, that's like not... He can shrug off a million insults, but that one is, like, clearly gets to him. So someone else is holding his leash, huh? Who would be holding... Because you'd think the only entity with the power to hold the leash of someone like Alastor would be in heaven. Like, given that he's demonstrably more powerful than almost any other demon down there. And what would they want to hold his leash for? Which, hey, that might be why he is looking for a deal with Charlie. Like, that might be why he's zeroed in on Charlie as his meal ticket, is that if he can get her on side, or get access to her power in some way, maybe that would be the thing that would let him snap whatever fetters it is that bind him. Would be my assumption. Interesting. But anyway, Mimsy only shows up when she needs something. Then there's a big explosion and the hotel shakes. One wonders if there's a connection. Let's find out. 3, 2, 1. On pause. Two, one. Good question. Interesting. Daddy's girl. Oh, there's Mother. Okay. Serpentia's very touched by it. So why was Lilith keeping them apart? He's so short. That was very sweet. I agree, Serpentius. Okay, then. Three, two, one. Pause. Okay. All right. So I was right about a few things there. Like, not, I'm not calling any, like, difficult shots here. I think, like, the show is very open with, like, the characterization isn't exactly... Well, no, I'm not going to say that it's not subtle, because that's not really the thing. It's not a matter of subtlety, it's a matter of, like, the way that it's performed, and the tone of this show is cartoony. Like, it's cartoony, it's camp, it's over the top, and it's a Broadway musical, right? And in Broadway musicals, characters don't hide their feelings very often. They sing them loudly, a lot. The thing I do note is that it was Lilith, one assumes, who took Charlie away from Lucifer, which begs the question, number one, why would she do that? It implies also, number two, that, yeah, no, like, my call of him being a divorced man might be quite right. That really struck me. Like, the thing of, like, Lilith presented as this dark, faceless figure taking Charlie out of the arms of her father, who she's desperate to know. But as she says, like, when I was a kid, I never knew you, right? Which implies that Lucifer was quite absent from her life. Which, was he absent because he wanted to be? Was he absent because he was a deadbeat who just couldn't face his own child? Or was he absent because Lilith had some reason for not wanting them to be around each other? Because clearly, like, what Charlie says is that Lucifer's dreams are the basis of hers, right? Like, that once upon a time, he believed in something. And the implication from what he's saying, what he said about, like, you invite people in and then they just fuck the place up, is that he built hell specifically with the desire of creating a place that was welcoming to sinners. Like, he tried what Charlie did, what Charlie is doing once, and it just did not work out for him. And is that a source of the rift between him and Lilith, I wonder? Like, did he focus on that project to the point where he neglected his family and that's what strained the relationship? Or did Lilith have a very different reaction to being cast out of heaven in that way? Given, you know, given the way that Adam treated her. Like, did Lilith want a war? For example? Like, did Lilith go a little bit harder for, like, well, let's take vengeance on these fuckers, or at the very least on... What's the rift? Like, why is there this presentation of Lilith as an antagonistic force in the relationship between Charlie and Lucifer? I kind of seized on that imagery in it. But also, like, again, character design, visual coding. Interesting that Lucifer's power is visually coded with gold, right? Like, because we often think of, like, heaven, golden light, golden arches, la, kingdom of God, la, 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 heaven, golden light. That's sort of the stereotypical image we have of heaven. So that Lucifer's powers specifically are, like, golden in that way. Sort of alludes to his nature as a fallen angel, I suppose. And that's just good character design. Like, that's a good little character design note, right? That his strength, his power is of notably a different character than that of Alastor, and that of any of the creatures of hell, right? Like, they draw their powers from something else. So curious. Curious. I was kind of, I will say, I was a little bit, I was hoping that there would be a longer conflict between Lucifer and Charlie. Like, I was hoping that Alastor would get to play his game of separation with them, like trying to push them apart from each other a little bit longer. If nothing else, because then that would probably have forced a little bit more backstory, so I'd know a little bit more what the fuck is going on with Lilith. But it's a Broadway musical. Things are resolved when characters sing a song at each other. That's the way the format works. Okay. 3, 2, 1, unpause. Oh, Vaki doesn't want to go to heaven, does she? Why doesn't she want to go to... Wait, hang on. Hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. There. Hang on, just hold on. Okay, Vaggie has... Sorry, I'm looking at a different video file right now. So Vaggie has the cross over her left eye. Okay, maybe not. Because I thought, like, I remembered that the exterminators have crosses over their eyes as well. But that's over their right eyes. Okay, yeah, but But does Vaki have some kind of connection to heaven then? Like, is the cross over the eye like an angel thing or something or other? Because she also wields a spear, which hang on, let me actually get that up on screen for you so you can see what I'm doing. Where is the fucking... Where is it? Oh, there it is. Different VLC. Over to the 01 fun. Because in the intro, the prologue, they all wield spears, right? And Vagi wields a spear, and she has the cross over the eye. So, like, yeah, like, she must have some kind of connection with the exterminators? The angel, like, the angel... Like, is that an angel thing, or is that specifically, like, an exterminating angel thing? Because Adam doesn't have it, but he's also a human. He's not an angel, technically, right? We haven't really seen angels. Except in the one dead one on the ground. Well, I'm saying they have the cross over their right eye, but, like, looking at the ones in the background here, well, they're flipped. They're just horizontally flipped, so... They have crosses over both eyes, but it's what I was thinking about. Like, was the one in the background with the scene with Adam, who? Let's see if we can find it. There, her, because she only has it over her right eye. So I assumed it was over one eye, kind of thing. Okay, well, okay, there's something to think about. I guess we'll find out in the next episode. I mean, there's no point. So, we are at the end now. Let's go and find the musical number, because I did want to take another look. Like, yes, like, all of this, like the summoning of puppets that speak for him. That sequence is like, that's fully on some genie shit. And like, the instrumentation isn't that different from A Friend Like Me either. Like, it's very like, you never had a friend like me. I can summon anything. I'll give you what you want. Bow, bow. And like the duplication of himself, like into multiple avatars, bringing Alastor into it. Like, again, size, power. Presenting himself as like this much greater power than Alastor, who can like fry him in a pan, serve his head up. And this, like, again, with the fucking French waiter thing, again, like, life is your restaurant and I'm your maître d'. Like, that's very much a bunch of Friend Like Me nonsense going on here. I quite like the song. Like, well, I mean, the song is like, I'll have to listen to it a few times. It's not as much of a banger as You're a Loser is. But the music video that accompanies it, like the performance, because again, circus ringmaster, right? Like, this is the thing his character design says, like, he's this circus ringmaster. He puts on a show. And that's exactly what he's doing here. He's putting on a show for his daughter. He's putting on like a performance for her. Which, again, like, speaking about Alastor does the same thing. Like, Alastor also likes to put on a show. That's what the whole radio show bit is, right? He likes to put on a show for people. So there, again, there's these overlaps between Alastor and Lucifer. Not in the sense that they're, like, the same, right? But in the sense that they share some qualities, like, which is part of why Lucifer tees off so hard on getting, like, jealous of Alastor. This is also just fully Genie shit. Like, the other thing with Genie, right? Genie likes putting his own face on things, and my. Also, Alastor popping in a fucking nun costume, that is very fucking funny. That's quite good. Oh no, people have drawn fan art of that, haven't they? Oh, I'm sure they have. Also, another thing about this musical number, again, Lucifer's bits, when he's putting on the performance, when he's putting on the show, lots of that golden light playing parts in what Lucifer is doing, right? Lots of oranges, lots of gold, lots of like shining light. Then Alastor puts on a performance, and we go into like fucking neon fever dream, right? Like, that's when we dip into like the color scheme of nightclubs and the underground. Because of course that's what Alastor offers, right? Like, he offers the power of the dark, of the underworld, where Lucifer offers, in his way, the power of heaven. And I fucking the fucking devil went down to Georgia golden fiddle. Really? Again, casting which again, like, in terms of narrative, like, this casts Alastor as Satan. Because the devil went down to Georgia, he was looking for a soul to steal. He was in a bind because he was way behind, and he was looking to make a deal. Which, yeah. I mean, it's not going to turn out that Alastor is Satan, right? Not if someone else is holding his leash. But it certainly casts Alastor in that role, and certainly that's how Lucifer perceives him, as like a devil intruding on his relationship with his daughter. And Alastor with like the very, like, Alastor putting himself on the side of, because like, obviously Lucifer doesn't believe in the hotel, right? Lucifer doesn't believe in the found family that Charlie has built, of which Alastor is a member. And Alastor makes the reasonable point, the found family is often better than the real one, which is not untrue. Which, like, Lucifer is going to have to make a decision to be part of that, right? Otherwise, Alastor is going to have that over him forever. Which you can, by the way. Like, a blood family can be part of a found family. They just have to, you know, they just have to want to be part of it and respect it as a family. But that, like, that's how Alastor sort of presents himself. It's like, I am the one who gave you your found family, right? Like, oh yeah, daddy, sure, fine. Gave you life and all that, but you would never have met these people if not for me, right? Well, I don't know how true that is of Vaggie. We don't really know how Charlie and her met, but you'd never have had, like, Angel Dust and Serpentius and Husk and Nifty if not for me, right? Which is something that Lucifer doesn't really have a good argument against, because it's true, frankly. Which again doesn't mean that Alastor is necessarily a healthy part of that family. We'll see. Again, it's that question of who holds his leash, right? The other thing I found interesting was Alastor's conversation when he's sending Mimsy away. That he seems to be picking his words extremely carefully. Right? Like, Mimsy knows him, right? Mimsy knows what he's like, what his deal is, how he behaves. And so, I think the creators are pulling a little trick on us, right? Because the normal way to read the interaction is the Mimsy kind of goes, you don't care about this hotel? Come on, I know you. right? Like, you don't give a shit about this. Like, I know exactly who you are inside. And Alastor then refutes, right? Like, he says, he sends her away. He rejects her attempts to sort of advance her friendship on him. And the normal way to read that is, oh, he does care about the hotel. He really secretly inside, in the depths of his soul, Alastor does care. Alastor does, like, want the hotel to be successful because he cares about the people who live there. I think maybe that's a red herring, and the actual thing is that, no, Alastor cares about this hotel because it's the only way he has to get to Charlie. Because he needs to get to Charlie because someone's holding his leash, and Charlie is his ticket out of that, which is my read of the character generally. So Alastor here, like, because, again, his rhetoric normally is, well, I don't believe in this hotel at all. Of course I don't. This hotel is silly and stupid, and, like, people are just, they're gonna flail uselessly, and then they're gonna, like, die, and that's gonna amuse me, and that's why I'm here, right? That's his rhetoric for why he's helping, right? It's like, it amuses me to see fools, like, strain themselves for something better and fail, haha, right? But then in this scene, he very, very specifically, very diplomatically says, you are welcome here if you wish to take a shot at redemption. Otherwise, I'm afraid I must insist you leave. Like, this very, very studied, neutral language of boundaries without any of his typical suaveness, any of his typical showmanship, any of his typical sort of gentlemanly affability. This very neutrally stated, like, you can't be here unless you are trying to seek redemption under the terms of the hotel, because he knows that's going to get Mimsy to fuck off, right? And it also doesn't reveal anything about why he wants her to fuck off, right? Like, it's a way to not give her anything that she can use to, like, poke at him. And, like, because Mimsy clearly is also someone who seeks her own advantage a lot. She shows up when she needs something, right? So that seems like a language that's calculated to make sure that she gets as little as possible that she can possibly use to come back with. And I'm curious about that, because, like, Mimsy knows him. Like, that's another thing, like, that for someone like Alastor, that's a threat, right? To have someone around who knows him very well, who knew him in life, apparently. Like, that's, that could be a risky thing to have around, because, again, if someone has the leash around his neck, Mimsy might have some idea of who that could possibly be. Which, you know, like, Alastor's acting in this scene here, at least, it seems very specifically, carefully staged. And I'm curious. Like, the fact that someone has a leash on Alastor genuinely surprised me. I did not think that was going to be part of the story, that Alastor actually had someone in a position of control over him. I thought that he was going to be more of an agent of chaos out for himself, but that the fact that he is, well, which he still is, but the fact that he's, like, someone who clearly has an imposed objective, who's not here just because this is what he wants to be doing at the moment, but who's here because he fucking needs to be. Which, again, that opens the possibility for Alastor is also here for redemption. Like, on the narrative thematic level, the fact that he's here with that ulterior objective, that he's trying to navigate his way around, like, whoever has power over him, that opens up the possibility thematically that at some point, I mean, I don't know if that's going to be this season because we've only got, 3 episodes left, but that a redemption narrative for Alastor is also on the table. Because it changes his thematic role. Like, it changes in the same way that, like Serpentius came to the hotel as a traitor, right? Like, specifically as an infiltrator, as a spy. And then his treachery was revealed, and then, you know, path to redemption from there. Like, he became part of the found family, the friend group. Alastor, similarly, is here apparently under false pretenses, I assume. Like, again, who knows? I'm making assumptions here. Alastor is here under false pretenses. Here as an infiltrator, as a traitor, perhaps. well, that opens up the possibility that the same narrative beat is going to happen with him, that he too is going to have to ask forgiveness, like say sorry and mean it in the same way that Serpentius had to, and find redemption at the Hazbin Hotel, much against his own will, right? Not sure that that's going to happen. Like, it's entirely possible that Alastor is not going to be playing that role, but it opens up the... Like, when I look at the ways in which stories like these can branch, right? Like, the ways in which the thematic underpinnings of the narrative can branch, part of the premise of Hazbin Hotel is that everyone deserves a second chance. Even the fucking worst, right? Like, even people who were murderers, people who were, you know, who were genuinely, truly awful in both their mortal life and their afterlife, they deserve a chance at redemption. Well, Alastor might be the worst of the worst, right? Certainly that's how Mimsy tells it, is that Alastor is someone who's so evil that he, like, even consumes other hell overlords, right? And broadcasts their screams on the radio. Yeah, as fear and warning, which, if he is the worst of the worst of the worst, then the ultimate thematic proof of the hotel's success and, like, the rightness of Charlie's mission would be to cause someone like Alastor to seek forgiveness and redemption, right? That would be the ultimate triumph of the hotel's mission under those circumstances. So I'm curious about that. Again, not a lot of episodes left to go. So who knows how all of this is going to... Presumably, like, one assumes it's not all going to get resolved. like in the first season. I know they have a second season coming. I believe that was confirmed, but then who knows if there's going to be a third. Like, third seasons in the age of streaming are rare. Very rare indeed, but given the passion of the show's fandom, there's a chance, at least there's a possibility. Because that's also, like, how much security the creative team feels about the time they have available is gonna inform how they tell their story. If they only think they have a second season, right? Like, if they only think they have 2 seasons to get this shit done, you know, then maybe season 2 is gonna get real fucking compressed and go real fast. If they think they have a season 3, or maybe even the possibility of a 4 or 5, that's when they could probably flex and stretch their wings a little bit more. I guess we'll see. Also depends on how much the show costs to produce versus how much it takes in. Like, there's gonna... I don't know what the situation is with merch sales, but this show is gonna have to convert a lot of people to go pick up Amazon Prime subscriptions to watch it, and it's gonna have to move a lot of merchandise to be, like, with the level of production that's on display. But that's me speculating way beyond the confines of the episode. Sorry, I just kind of went off on a thinky thought exploration there. Cool episode. Quite liked the Genie song. I liked the pettiness of these two dipshits. sort of trying to out-dad each other. And the obviousness with which they were both treating Charlie as an object in their conflict, rather than, you know, as a person. Which, you know, I feel like my assumption was that was going to escalate to the point where Charlie was going to go, shut the fuck up, the both of you, what the fuck are you doing? I'm not a thing. Stop arguing like I'm not in the room with you. But then Mimsy comes in and derails everything. And clearly not because Alastor wanted her there. Huh. Small animation mistake, I think, where the red of Alastor's eyebrow shadow is in the space here with his nose. Doesn't matter. Shut up. I need to stop talking. Yeah, that's cool. Bye.